I'm just saying, I'm a male woman.
Are you kidding me? Use your eyes.
Alright guys, every now and then we have to play a little game of whack-a-mole and respond to every single gendered TikTok that we can find, and that's what we're gonna do today because it's been a while, so let's get into it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Matter of fact, like this video if you think Wemby's real cute, okay? That better up my likes, or y'all playing, okay? We're gonna get into TikTok number 1 and see what we find, see how we're gonna respond.
Hi friends! Today we're going to talk about something super important, what it means to be transgender. It's a big word, but I promise that it's easy to understand. Ready to learn? The first thing I want you to do is close your eyes. Now think, do you feel like a boy, a girl, or a little bit of both?
I feel like be so for real right now. Okay, if you don't know who this individual is or who they're dressed up as, let me fill you in a little bit. This person is, I'd say, a minor league TikToker who films their transgender journey, and we've reacted to him on this account before because he's made videos complaining about being misgendered at different restaurants. Now he's dressed up as Miss Rachel, who is also known as the Beyonce for babies. She's known for making children's content, which makes this really, really strange because very young kids are watching Miss Rachel. We're talking anywhere from 1 year old to like 8, I would guess. And you're dressing up as her in order to teach kids about transgenderism. That's not strange.
Do you have your answer? Great. Now I want you to imagine that everyone keeps telling you that you're something else, even though in your heart, you know who you are.
Whoa.
Wouldn't that make you sad inside? People who feel like this are transgender. And if you're not transgender, it's super easy to be friends with someone who is. Let's take our imaginary friend Theo, for example. One day you notice that Theo starts wearing girl clothes instead of boy clothes, and then they tell you that they want to be called Luna instead of Theo.
Oh,
this is
my
so
goodness.
exciting for our friend Luna because they finally get to be their true self. And if you accidentally call Luna by their old name, make sure to say a big sorry and that you'll do better next time. As you can see, transgender people are just like you and me. They're our friends.
Whoa, this is crazy. I don't know why this needs to be said, but leave the kids alone. This is not a conversation that they need to be having at this point in their life. And the fact that you're dressing up as Miss Rachel in order to sort of dupe them into thinking this is somehow associated with a child's content creator that they love is wild to me. But you know exactly why he's doing something like this. A lot of people think that if you catch people while they're young and their minds are malleable and they don't really know left from right yet, you can teach them whatever it is you want to teach them. And for the most part, those people would be right. So they go after vulnerable children who just want to do the right thing, who just want to treat other people with respect and be friends with everybody, and they teach them this sort of ideology that is not adherent with reality. This, I have no words. We've started off on a very, very wild and crazy note. But we're gonna move on. Now, if you just watched that TikTok or the other TikToks we're gonna respond to in today's video, you'll know that a lot of people feel comfortable putting information out there on the internet very confidently without letting you know their bias. And that's why today I'm excited to tell you about a sponsor on this channel, a company that I'm actually willing to put on this channel known as Ground News. So for those of you that don't know, Ground News is actually a website that puts together articles from over 50,000 sources and puts them all in one place for you to access them. And every story on Ground News actually has a breakdown attached to it where you can review the factuality, the ownership, the political bias, and they'll even analyze the headlines for you to let you know what's going on. Because as we know, a lot of news sources don't do that. For example, in this video, we're talking about gender. So if I look up pride on Ground News, I'm gonna find a bunch of different sources on this topic. They'll let you know the bias distribution. And in my case, it was about 80% center political bias coverage when it came to the topic of pride. They'll also let you know where these stories are coming from as far as outlet. I'm really concerned about bias and transparency when it comes to news. I know a lot of you are as well because you ask me about this all the time. So I'm excited something like Ground News exists to sort of pave the way for actually knowing more about the information that we're receiving. So if you guys want to check out Ground News and subscribe, you can go to ground.news/Amala, or you can go to the link in the description down below. And if you go and sign up through my link, you're actually going to get 40% off the same unlimited access Vantage plan that I use to access Ground News and unlock all their features. Now, back to our TikToks. This one says getting sirred and manned in this fit is so... And we have a man who's wearing a skirt and a little tiny top. I honestly don't know what I would call this individual. I would probably just call them by whatever their first name is. I would say, tell me what your name is, and I'll call you by the first name, because what you got going on right now is highly confusing to me. But you know what? The reason that you get manned and sirred in this outfit is because you are a man, a sir. You are masculine, and you can put on female clothing and earrings and try to be perceived as female or feminine, but at the end of the day, the masculine traits are shining through in this outfit. But you know what? Yeah, I'd go for the first name thing. I'm not gonna get into the pronoun territory. Y'all know I can't keep up with that. And I don't know that I should have to keep up with that. But there's a reason that people are perceiving you as a man, and it might be the masculine chest, body, face, the facial hair, just to name a few things. Next.
Can I hear a little commotion for the dress? A little bit?
So that was a teacher, presumably. I don't know in what age level classroom, but they're wearing a pride flag dress on as a man. Now, if I were a parent and I walked into a PTA meeting or a meet the teacher meeting and I walked into the classroom and saw this man dressed in this way, I'm gonna be honest with you, I am pivoting back around, going out and having my daughter or son switch classes or, damn near switch schools. Because if a school is allowing somebody to wear their ideology on them like this, then maybe this is not the proper place to give your kid an education. I send my kid to school to learn reading, writing, math, science, to socialize with other children, not to be indoctrinated with somebody else's personal agenda. And this is not to say that my kid won't learn about LGBTQ people or pride or these sorts of subject matters, but they will learn about them as I see fit, not when a teacher who has their own personal identity that comes above teaching decides that they should know about these things. And it's very clear that at the forefront of this teacher's brain is not actually a good relationship with kids and a guided relationship with kids that is revolving around giving them information and tools to lead a healthy life. Instead, he's taking his own personal agenda and just injecting it into the classroom for kids of I don't know what age, but hopefully not too young. Like, how is it possible that he walked into school that day and he was not turned around, told to go back home and change? It's one thing if you want to wear a dress to school and all these different things as a man and play around with that, although I'm not sure that I would be too comfortable sending my kid to a teacher that is dressed in that way, but to wear a pride flag dress is a whole nother level, a whole nother slap in the face to the parents who are sending their kids off to school to be educated by you. Next. In this one, this woman clearly seems to be having some sort of mental breakdown. Let's read. It says, my daughter for real just told me she won't use my pronouns and that she is not an ally. WTF. And this woman is crying her eyes out. Okay. Oof. And shaking. You know, a lot of people might see a TikTok like that and think, oh my goodness, you poor mom. It's so awful that you brought a child into the world and the child doesn't support you and your life choices and who you truly are. To me, I'm thinking that poor child. And this is not to say that the mother's struggle should be set aside and she shouldn't adventure when it comes to her identity. It's just to say that that is separate from the relationship that you hold with your daughter, and that comes first. And while she's filming herself and sort of painting herself as the victim in this scenario, what I'm thinking is that her daughter is actually the victim. When you have a parent that struggles with their mental health like this and makes it not only their problem, but your problem, it leads to such an unhealthy dynamic between the two of you, and it's not really a healthy lifestyle or environment to be developing in as a child. And I understand that she's going through a struggle, and when you go through struggle in some way, shape, or form, it does sort of get projected onto your children, but you should do everything within your power to stop that from happening. And to now post on the internet that this is what's going on with her daughter and saying that her daughter is not an ally is such a crazy thing. Keep that in your household. Keep that in between the two of you and try to build a healthy relationship with your daughter while respecting her boundaries. I know this mother is going to say, I chose my pronouns, this is a boundary for me, but what comes first is your child as soon as you bring them into the world. So respect the boundaries that she's placed around not wanting to be an ally towards your agenda and not wanting to use your pronouns, because she has known you as her mother and a she, her entire life. And it is so dysfunctional to suddenly push another identity and another way of life onto a developing child. I know I'm really going in on this woman, but I feel like I have to. When children are involved, and especially in parent-child relationships, it takes on a whole nother level of messed up. So please, lock in, pull it together, and go back to your daughter, and maybe instead of her apologizing to you, you apologize to her for suddenly thrusting something new on her that she's not yet ready for. And you wait till your child is ready, not when you're ready. Next, let's move on.
You accept that you're a male with other... Yeah, every trans person, every trans woman, I mean, like, is like, yeah, I'm a male woman. Why can't you be a male woman? Like, that's what y'all don't understand. No, like, yeah, I'm not saying I'm a cis woman. I never said that. I'm just saying I'm a male woman. Just treat me like a woman.
Do I even need to respond to that, guys? I'm a male woman. Just treat me like a woman. And I do have to really push back on one of the first statements made that every single trans woman agrees that they're in fact a male woman. That is most certainly not the case. There are tons of trans people that believe that they are in fact a woman that just so happen to be trapped in a male body. There's no male woman. They're saying, I am a woman, that is it, and you must accept me for that. Maybe I can give more credit to somebody who is acknowledging I'm a male woman instead of just saying they're a woman, because at least you are giving some sort of acknowledgement to your past and what you are born as. But still, y'all, it don't make no sense. What is a male woman? Drop the definition in the comments down below. Quite frankly, this is the only male woman that I'm going to accept. And I'm sorry if Wemby barks at her when she walks down the street. All right, for this last one, we're doing a little bit of a story time. It's titled Misgendered at the Bank. Let's figure out what happened.
Just because I had just a bit of a jarring experience here. I went into the bank. I was trying to change my name on my account, which apparently I can't do because my ex and I still have a joint account, so my ex needs to be present so I can change my name and it reflects on both accounts. Regardless of that, the girl who was doing it had a question, and she calls her coworker over like, well, he's trying to change his name on his account, and I'm like, she kind of like looks at me a little bit and is like, oh, I'm sorry, and just like it writes it off.
Also, on a bit of a tangent, a joint bank account with your ex? We need to get this resolved. Your next bank appointment should be to separate that damn bank account. Not to put your next name on it, okay?
You read both names. Like, she had both my IDs and my legal name change paperwork in front of her. So, you know what my name's going to. Number 2, I look and sound like this. I know I'm 6 feet tall, but girl, come on, I'm wearing a dress.
BFFR, BFFR, you look and sound like this. I'm confused, and I know what the topic of the video that I'm filming right now is. You're a 6-foot, masculine-looking individual with a masculine-sounding voice who happens to have long pink hair and a dress on. I imagine that would be confusing for quite a few people, even though you're going by ma'am.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
And I love the entitlement here. You're showing up to a space with a very confusing request in a confusing situation for this banker, and you're just expecting her to have figured out everything all at once because you have 2 different names and want to change it on your bank account. Oftentimes, that's not the way the world works, and people make mistakes, even though in this case, she did properly gender you.
I am wearing a dress. I am wearing makeup, I'm wearing eyeliner and eyeshadow and everything. Like,
dress, eyeliner, eyeshadow, makeup. Doesn't that make me a woman? Do you see this sort of reductionist view towards womanhood and femininity? The fact that you can just throw these things on your person and suddenly you are to be perceived and treated like a woman? That's not the way it works. There's far more to womanhood than just that. Not to mention the fact that there are a lot of like non-binary queer people who are calling themselves femme and they dress in these sort of feminine ways, yet don't want to be referred to by she, her. They want they, them, or they still want he, him, or they're playing around with their pronouns, and their pronouns change every single season or every other Tuesday. So how was she to know how you wanted to be referred to?
What do I have to do? What do I have to do to, like, just get gendered correctly once while I'm out? Like, I know it's happened before, but, like, when I'm doing something, like, official like this, it's been so annoying that, like, it's just like, oh, well, he needs this, and his, and him, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, are you kidding me? You use your eyes. Use your eyes.
Who's gonna sit him down and tell him? I love this whole, like, I'm living in this thing that I've created. Why doesn't everybody else believe the thing that I created and the thing that I made up? How ridiculous of you. Use your eyes to read my mind and know exactly who I am at all times because I put makeup on and a dress on. And I wouldn't normally address people with this sort of attitude, but it's the entitlement that comes with it. I get it if you are transgender or experiencing gender dysphoria and you're dealing with the discomfort and trying to find out your new identity, and you're being very honest and raw and vulnerable about that and bringing it out into the world and sort of telling people, you know what, I'm going through a really hard time right now with my identity. I think I'm a girl even though I was born as a boy, and it's okay if you make mistakes. I just want you to know that this is something I'm personally struggling through right now, and I don't want to impose that on you or project that onto you. It's my personal struggle. Do what you need to do with your life, and I will do what I need to do with mine. That is respect and dignity shown towards other people. Yet what they want is for you to just know what they're thinking, know how they want to be referred to, and to just abide by the reality that they've now created, which is a morphed reality. And when you have that sense of entitlement towards the behaviors and actions of other people, then you're gonna catch a little bit of attitude from me because you're not really being reasonable. I will meet reasonable with reasonable.
This isn't rocket science. Like, it's very clear that if you aren't sure, here's a tip. You aren't sure? Ask. Ask what my pronouns are.
You know what I know? I know it's not rocket science because there's not a damn formula in the world that makes a biological man into a woman. So no, it is not rocket science. I don't think any rocket scientist could sit down and figure this out. And you know what? The banker couldn't sit down and figure it out. And that is totally okay. You shouldn't be putting her on full blast on the internet for a situation that's probably going to happen many more times in your life because of the path that you're going down. And that should be okay. Even if you want to transition and take on a new identity, you should accept that people aren't always going to refer to you as the identity that you've taken on. I go out sometimes and people mistakenly say, oh, yes, sir, or call me dude, or accidentally refer to me with the wrong pronouns. It happens in life. Maybe not as often as it happens to this individual for clear and distinct reasons, but it happens. And I don't go pitch a fit and turn on my phone in my car and do a story time about how I got misgendered at Target, okay? I go on and I live my life as I was meant to. This is like peak sensitivity culture. And what an interesting note to close out this video on. The banker, I hope this person didn't give you too much trouble. And I can imagine a lot of people in the service industry especially are running into this problem over and over again. And my thoughts and my heart goes out to y'all. I don't know what I would do in this situation. I don't know what I would do. Guys, leave your thoughts on these TikToks down below. Let me know how you feel, how you would respond to some of these people. Are there any points that I missed? Is there any place where you disagree with me? If so, duke it out in the comments down below, but do so respectfully. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every single day. And I will see you next time. It's ma'am. Bye, guys.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.